This podcast is brought to you by Independent Building Advice. IBA acknowledges traditional owners of the land and waters this podcast is recorded on. If you find this episode helpful, follow us for more so we can continue putting out free value for all homeowners in Australia. It really goes a long way. Enjoy the episode.
Today we're going a little bit of a different direction, and what we're trying to do is we want to use this forum, this platform of podcast to actually make people aware of different charities. We're inviting different charities on board to give them some exposure to people out there so people know more awareness of these different charities. Can't think of any better charity to start with than the one we've been giving to for about 15 years now, which is WA Charity Direct. We've got Sandra Ursino on board. Just trying to make sure I got that name right. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So amazing charity. Obviously, I think highly of it. I couldn't think of anybody better to have on board here than yourself, Sandra, because obviously you're the representative of WA Charity Direct. Tell us a bit about yourself, about the charity. What's it all about?
Yeah. So I've been volunteering for a very long time. My passion is in volunteering. I started with Radio Lollipop, a radio station for sick kids in hospital.
I remember Radio Lollipop,
yes.
Yeah.
So I was in Queensland and was involved with them for about 17 years before I decided to move back to Perth. So locally homegrown girl. And so when I got back here, I started to look for other charities to support, and I met with Damien Eves, who is the founder of WA Charity Direct, and talked about what my skill set was and what I thought I could give the charity. 5.5 years later, I'm sitting here and absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's an amazing charity, yeah.
It's great. So what WA Charity Direct does is we provide financial support to people in the most necessitous of situations. So we do it in two different ways. So you can either be an individual member and receive funds from us, or you can be a charitable group that has gift deductible recipient status. We can donate money to them. So we're a bit like a pyramid scheme. So corporate members donate $5,000 a year. Individuals donate $2,000 a year, and they trust us to give that money to people in need. So we're very conscious of how we distribute that money and who gets that money, and it's WA based. We only donate to charities or individuals here in WA. So local money is staying locally here throughout WA.
Yeah, it's amazing. And what's great about that, and this is probably the biggest part about it, is a lot of charities, they might collect millions of dollars sometimes, but a lot of that money actually just goes straight into running the operations of the business. WA Charity Direct is very different in that case. Yes,
very different. So for the last 20 years, we've been run entirely by volunteers. We have never had any paid staff. The money we use for very small admin costs that we have comes from the interest we earn on our bank account. So 100% of money people donate to us goes back to people in the community.
Yeah, amazing. And that's unique. I don't know. I haven't heard that anywhere else before.
Yeah, I know a number of volunteer-run organisations, but there's always an admin cost or there's always a salary cost. We don't have that at all.
Yeah.
So for 20 years, the $4.3 million we've given to people in need, 100% comes from the people that donate.
Yeah, so every dollar that's gone there actually is literally helping somebody benefit their lives. And the amount you told me last night that we've raised over the 20 years is...
Yes, it's $4.3 million.
Yeah, amazing. So that's 100% of that $4.3 million has gone to directly helping people.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So what are some of the people that you've helped over the period of time?
So we've
helped, I guess.
We. So we help individuals. So it could be, an example is there was a lady down south of WA. She became very unwell. She lost her driver's licence, then was stuck at home. There was a hill between her and the little town where she lived. She couldn't get out of the house. She was isolated, and all she needed was a push bike. And so what we did was we bought her an electronic bike because she couldn't ride a standard push bike into town. So she was isolated at home. And so an electronic bike, something so simple, meant it changed her life.
As a $4.3 million bike?
Not quite.
No, sorry.
But what it meant for her is she could get out and go to town. She could get out and go and visit friends and family.
Amazing.
She was not isolated.
Yeah.
So, but nobody else would support a lady like that.
Because obviously, like it goes to the big people who give money to other charities and that they go to these big organisations. It doesn't necessarily trickle down.
Yeah.
But that's amazing to give her that freedom to make those changes.
Yeah, but even government support, other charitable support, it's just someone that just slips through the crack, but it's life-changing. For someone like her, that changed her life to be able to get out and go into town. And so depression, there's all sorts of things that actually helped with a simple push bike.
So, yeah, because that's the individual, because you also do big organisations as well. But how do you find out about that smaller individual? Like, how did you learn about her to help her?
Yeah, so people can go to our website and apply for grants through our website. We also do a lot of work with social workers and people in the community. So those people will let someone know, the charitable groups that we support, if they know individuals that need help, they will actually help them or refer them on to us. So, for example, Breast Cancer Care are big supporters of ours that provide individuals that need help. So they can't be helped anywhere else. They
Gotcha.
will refer people. Social workers, they're a really good resource for us that will refer people to us.
Because they're on the ground. They're talking to the individuals, go, okay, this grant can help you, or this can, or actually you slip between the cracks. Do you know what? They're a charity direct. Reach out to them, or I'll reach out to you, and then it puts them on the radar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have no idea where to go.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure most people haven't heard of the WA Charity Direct. So.
No, because we don't spend money on advertising.
Yeah.
So it really is word of mouth, but it's the allied health professionals that know about us that would actually share our story and will help the individual complete the application form and submit it.
Yeah, amazing. And of course, people listening at home, if you think that you want to give to a charity, and you obviously want that charity and you want your money to go to a cause that's actually going to be handed out properly, and every single cent's going to go to somewhere, well then feel free to reach out to WA Charity Direct and give money, because it helps individual or business. Yeah.
And really, the more money we get in, the more money we can give away.
Yeah.
So we're very mindful of, we've got a very detailed process about how we give our money away, who we give our money to. So we make sure that our members know that they can trust us, that 100% is going to go out to those in need, because we've got to do our due diligence and have the process that we go through.
Yeah.
So I think for anyone that is thinking about donating to us, because, there's not 20% of your funds going to admin and only 80% or even less going to people in need.
Yeah.
100% of your money goes to people in need.
Yeah, you're cutting through the crap and getting to the heart of it.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that process later. What are some of the bigger organisations that you've sort of that we help?
Yeah, and we don't tend to help the really big organisations,
yeah.
but the charities that we help. So, for example, we help the Hero Hunter Foundation. They're a small charity that have been going a couple of years. Kate and Dave, who are the founders of it, their son had 3 lapses of cancer and died a few years ago of cancer. They've created their charity through lived experience. So they lived through 3 times of a son relapsing, and I think it was about the age of 8 when he passed away. So what they've dreadful. And so what they've done is so brave and started their charity to really help people give or get what they need, the support they need from someone that's been there and done that. And so one of the things we do with them is we fund them their fuel vouchers. And I never really thought about it, but there are people that need to make a decision. Do I put fuel in my car, or do I go and put food on the table for my family?
Yeah.
Because I actually can't do both. The cost of having a sick child in hospital is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and that's a horrible position to be in. You feel sick because you're worried about a child. Yeah. You're also worried about, keeping the lights on.
That's it. Yeah. And a lot of the time, one of the parents have to give up work, so they've got less income coming in. And the fuel that we sponsor Hero Hunter Foundation for, it's now their most popular item that people ask for. So if they've got a child in hospital with cancer, going through treatment, one of their biggest expenses is fuel. Because you're coming and going every day to the hospital.
And you're in an outer suburb. You could be 40 minutes in the city.
But you could be down in Albany.
Yeah.
You could be down in Bunbury. You could be up in Geraldton.
Yeah, wow.
So there's a lot of people that need help with the cost of fuel. So it's something very small, makes an enormous difference to the families that need that money.
See, I don't know the stats, but I'm just going to guess here that I reckon a lot of these foundations start with people who have lived it and have experienced a situation where they've struggled. and they've gone, well, actually, there's no real support for this. Let's start a foundation. I think a lot of them would start from personal experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a number of the ones we support, there's some work that we need to do. They can't be too new a charity as well, because we need to know that they're going to be there for the long haul.
Yeah.
And a number of...
of course, yeah.
And we have kickstarted a number of charities. So Lionheart, who are a charity that support bereaved children. So the child has lost a brother or a sister or a parent and going through that grief process. I remember Shelley Skinner, the founder, saying to us, Sandra, if WA Charities Direct didn't back us, I don't know we'd still be here today. We were one of the first charities to support them, and then now they have grown. They no longer require funding from us.
Amazing.
Because they're doing it themselves. But sometimes when you truly believe in a charity, you can actually help them out and kickstart them, and they go on to do amazing things.
Well, that's the cool thing about, I think, WA Charity Direct is you pick up the pieces that are missed behind. Like I often say in or building and things like that, you might have an expert here, an expert here, an expert here, where the problems are the gaps. And I think it's the same thing with this, is that you've got people that wanting to do the work, people that have a good cause, great thing, they're just missing the funding, which is one of the hardest things to do. And it's so competitive to get funding out there. But then if WA Charity Direct has that funding, they can go, well, actually, we believe you, we want to support you, let us get you off the ground, and then when you're self-sufficient, then you're laughing.
Yeah. And we fund things that, see, for some of those bigger charities, it might be a particular project, or it might be something specific that we're going to fund. So we do fund St Bart's. So St Bart's are a charity, they're quite a large charity. They support people that would normally come from being homeless and then go and live in one of the accommodation or the houses through St Bart's. And I know for them, we sponsor their food breakfast on a Monday and a Friday morning, and it's amazing. I didn't realise, and I was probably uneducated potentially in what that looked like. So I went and did a service with them, because I'm thinking to myself, we provide breakfast for people, bacon and eggs, tomatoes, barbecue breakfast 2 days a week. Do they really need that? But in actual fact, I went down and did a shift with St Bart's, and I was blown away by, yes, they get bacon and eggs and tomato and whatever, and toast and a coffee 2 mornings a week, but how well-dressed the individuals were that came to the breakfast, how polite they were, how grateful they were, but the camaraderie.
Yeah.
So you've got people that live in isolation in a room. They might not go out and visit people, but they got dressed, they got showered, they came down to breakfast, and the laughter. Yeah. Just incredible. And I thought, really, they could come down and get some cereal and a cup of tea.
Yeah.
But would you really? They might not, but because there's a hot breakfast just 2 mornings a week, makes such a difference to those people, and amazing.
Well, even culturally, like having a barbecue and cooking, it's a cultural dynamic, when you're with your family, you have a chat, have a talk, gets people out, and, bacon eggs can get most people out of your house. It's pretty hard to resist, But I think that cultural part of the actual cooking process and the eating process, and you're up and moving about. Yeah. And I think it's super healthy for those people to get out of the house as well. So if that draws them out, it's great, and you have that laugh, you're not isolated.
Yeah, and they're creating friendships.
Yeah, which is
and support,
community, which is important. Yeah.
Talking to each other. It was just such a wonderful experience to go and see this firsthand, because, I thought, why are we doing this? But when you see the difference you make to those people, it's worth every cent.
Well, at the 20-year awards last night, it was interesting. It was mentioned in the speeches, because so not 20-year awards, but the 20-year celebration of WA Charity Direct going for that long. But it was interesting that the word ripple effect was so powerful that you make a dent, like 4.3 million, great, that's a figure, that's what you've raised, but it's the people you've helped and how they've helped other people and other people and other people. It's that chain reaction that makes the real difference. And you can't track how much of a difference it makes, but it's there. I think that's really powerful, giving those people, you never know how much you've changed their lives by doing a barbecue, and they're getting out there, and that gives them the housing, and that gives them the chance to get the job they wanted, or get back on their feet. And it's just a beautiful thing that you're doing to help those people, and to be able to help so many different charities in so many different areas. It's crazy. So it's fantastic. So I was talking to some of the about diabetes last night. I was talking to some of the ladies there last night. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so Type 1 Diabetes Family Centre. So Type 1 diabetes is not you're overweight and not looking after yourself. This
Yeah.
is something you can't do anything about, happens at any particular time. So there are a number of different projects that we've funded for type 1. One of the projects is a teenage program. So some children will get diabetes at a very early age, and their parents will manage their diabetes for them. And there are hundreds of decisions a day you need to make if you've got diabetes to keep yourself alive. And so they get to a stage where you're going from being a child and mum and dad are looking after it to where you have to manage your diabetes on your own. And type 1, where we've got a real gap in the market here because teenagers, they don't want to admit they've got type 1 diabetes. They don't want to tell people they've got type 1 diabetes, but they can die. They have one episode that gets out of control. It's death.
Oh, yeah. And they see it as a weakness.
Yeah.
But also I think society also thinks, like you said, oh, you must have been overweight and that's why you got diabetes. Well,
no.
Because the average person is not educated. So to give that support to those teenagers to get through those tough years, teenage years are tough.
Yeah. So the teenage mentoring program that they've created, because nobody wants to hear what mum and dad have got to say.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've created a mentor program where the mentors had been through where a teenager's been through.
Yeah.
And we'll actually mentor that child, and they're closer in age.
Yeah.
They've got similar sorts of hobbies and interests, so they're matched up with their mentor.
Brilliant.
But the enormous difference that makes, and that's a pilot program that WA Charity Direct funded to allow them to go on. We only did it for 1 year. Now they're off and doing it. They've got their own funding to keep that program going. But that's life-changing, and that program will save lives.
Yeah, amazing.
Because children will understand from someone, because, they want to go out and have a drink once they turn 18.
Yeah.
But that impacts their diabetes.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. What are the consequences? I was actually learning a lot about it last night, talking to them last night, and it was interesting about, you have to make these choices. You can eat bad food, but you've got to pay for this the next day, and that's, it's life challenge, but you can still have a great life, you just got to make it work. But you got getting you through those teenage years, those young age, like, what does this mean? What does it really mean?
Yep.
And what's that scope?
Yeah,
So,
and going from mum and dad organising it all to me having to be responsible.
yeah.
And then, teenage years are hard.
Yeah, it's amazing. So how do you decide which charity and what's the process behind that with who you help and how you help them? And
Yeah, so with
you don't want to do a GoFundMe page for my trip around Australia. It's like, wait a second, no. Yeah.
No. So it depends. If it's an individual, they put an application through our website, and then we have a vetting team that will go through all of those applications and go through their financials and different things and make a decision amongst a group of 4 people.
Do a deeper dive.
Yep, do a deep dive and then decide whether that fits within what we're trying to do. Then we have our charitable groups, and we have 2 pitch days. So we used to do those just regularly throughout the year, but then we found we had more money to give away than charities that knew about us. So these 2 pitch days, one's held in May and one's in November each year. All of the charities that we support and anyone that's interested can put in an expression of interest. We then will sit down and go through each of those applications and shortlist. Then of probably normally about 8 to 10 each time will be invited to come in and talk to us, because that's very rare. For a grant application, you rarely will get to the people that make a decision.
Yeah.
So then they come in on pitch day and then they pitch to us. They get half an hour to talk to us through their application and really understand what it is. And then the group of 4 or 5 board members will decide if we're going to support that charity or not. And we need to agree.
Yeah.
So it needs to be
Unanimous.
a majority.
A majority
Of people that agree.
Yeah.
And we have some robust discussions, because we've got some people that will give their heart and their soul, but then sometimes we've got to really make it, is this the right choice? Because it's other people's money that we're spending. But it can change. So I can sit there and read the application and go, I don't think this charity is going to make it. We'll get through, but we'll sit down and listen. And by the time we've heard them, you think, how can we not give these people money?
Yeah.
So an example of one of these was the Footpath Library. Never heard of it. Didn't know about it. They have books and reading glasses and provide them to the homeless.
Yeah, cool.
Here in WA. It started in Sydney. It's now expanded to Melbourne. It's now here in WA. And I thought, okay, books for the homeless. Like, why would we support that?
Yeah.
And then Sarah came in to talk to us and went, well, the homeless may sleep during the day because it's safe. At night, it's not safe, so they read books.
Yeah, wow.
It's an escape to what they're going through. and they would like to read books. Some of them write books. I heard from Naomi last night telling me that one of the homeless people that she knows and supplies books to writes books.
Yeah.
So what we did was we sponsored them for reading glasses. You know, the glasses you get from the chemist, one of those places, because a lot of them, their eyesight is poor, but that's one of the items that gets stolen most.
Wow.
Because everybody wants reading glasses.
So you look at the world from your vantage point and you don't really understand it unless you walk to them. And that's the interview process when you go, all right, walk me through why this is a good idea. And they go, well, this is, no idea.
Yeah.
But it's pretty hard to write that in a little document going, hey, this is how people think. So, and then you also got to measure, which you can't really measure, but you got to sort of feel the passion. Like, how are these guys just going, I've got this random idea in my head that let's give it a crack? Or is it, no, this is going to get up. Yep. And that drive is what they're going to overcome those hurdles that they're going to face.
Yep.
But what an amazing thing to help people.
And it's an amazing charity that's doing such good work. So they get plenty of books, but they always need reading glasses, notebooks and pens.
Yeah, wow.
Because, things get stolen. But then there are other charities that come in and I think, how can we not help this charity? And yet they come through and then they talk about all of this. They've got this grant from this person and this funding from this person and this is doing this, and you think, they don't need our money.
Yeah.
Our money, it's not necessitous for them.
Yeah.
They can get funding from somebody else. So we save our money for those charities that really need it most and that are going to impact the people the most.
Yeah. Well, the thing behind that, like you talk about Damien Eves and the founders, you got some pretty strong brain powers behind there. So these people aren't pushovers. Like, I mean, I was looking in the room last night going, wow, this is some pretty like, I think, there's about 5 people with MBAs that I saw just in the 2 minutes I was scanning the room.
Yeah.
But you've got some people, like, they're not pushovers. They're not going, well, this is close enough. They're taking that money very seriously because it is raw money. It's like 100%. And they're going, well, could I stand up in front of everybody and say, this is who we've gone to and this is why, and justify it?
Yeah.
And I think it's great. You've got people who are very smart business operators going, yeah, this does stack up, or it doesn't. Or, yeah, we're getting money from 12 different locations going, well, you're not using it that wisely, this is not the best option. So I think that peace of mind for people, knowing that money's been well looked after, is really important.
Yeah. And we've got accountants on our board and different professionals, because everybody on our board is professional.
Yeah.
And so we and I think the thing behind all of it is we're giving other people's money away. People trust us to give their money away. We need to make sure we're going through the right process, the right due diligence to make sure we're giving it to the right people who need it most.
Yeah, amazing. So do you know how many organisations you've given to since day one? Or I don't know if you've actually done that record, because I remember back 10 years ago, even 15 years ago when I first started, you had different women's refuges. I imagine I've never actually sat down and thought about it, but there'd be so many different organisations that you've given and individuals that you've given money to over the time.
Yeah. So in the last 5.5 years since I've been there and since we've been doing the pitch days, we've got 32 charities that we've supported. Most of them, or some of them are regulars. They'll come year on year and you can only receive one lot of funding per year.
Okay,
although we do
great.
2 pitch days, you only get one lot of funding. And with those charities, sometimes, as I said about Lionheart, they've now funded themselves, so we don't need to support them again. But they, so there's probably about 32 of them that we are in regular contact with.
Yeah.
And I have the very fortunate position of I lead the engagement team, which is engaging with our members, engaging with those that we give the money to. So I get to go out and see firsthand where our money's going. So it's a bit like we're checking up on them to make sure they're doing what they say they'll do. Yeah. And they've got to submit an acquittal at the end of it and say they've spent the money where they said they'd spend it.
Yeah.
But going out and seeing the money where it's going is just amazing. And when you go from year to year, you see a charity where they started and you go back 12 months later, it's amazing the difference that it makes in 12 months.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also the lack of distraction. Yeah. So if you're there going, okay, well, we want to do this, we want to do all this charity stuff, but we've got to try and find this extra money, and we can't do that this month, we have to do it next month because we might get some more donations in. Yeah. If they can go, okay, we've got that, right, we don't have to worry about that right now. We can focus on what the actual job is, which is actually making a difference. Yep. It must be amazing for them to actually be able to take action and also be accountable, like make sure that money is not being burnt and spent frivolously, like it can happen with business. But and it's good that you guys are not just giving the money, you're also helping them have the assets to make it work.
Yep, yeah. And I think one of the good things, a couple of years ago, we sit in those pitch days and you hear the stories, and sometimes the stories you think, now why isn't that charity helping that charity?
Yeah.
And so a couple of years ago we had our first Connecting Communities event. So that's where all of the charities get invited to come in and they get 2 minutes to pitch who they are, what they do and their biggest need. And that first year there were so many charities in the room that went, oh my God, I can help you. And then another charity go, I can help you. And yeah, I can help you. And there was these connections that all happened. So an example is Dandelion Foundation or Dandelions WA. They do school books or provide brand new school kits for children throughout WA.
I know them, yeah.
They've got all these empty boxes because all their products come in boxes because it's brand new, and we can't get rid of these boxes. They're everywhere. So then we have little things for tiny tots that send newborn packs out to people throughout WA, and they do a lot outside the WA area. We're buying boxes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So then we connect Dandelions and Little Things together. Now, Dandelions give Little Things all of their boxes.
Yep.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, wow.
So,
it's amazing.
Yeah, and so over
Waste
the last...
not, want not sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But one charity's got a big need and the other one has something... Connecting.
Connect the dots, yeah.
So then May this year, we had our second Connecting Communities event. And it was amazing. It was hosted at Government House, and I think we had 21 speaking charities, which in hindsight was probably a few too many to have on one night. But anyway, even more connections. So I get emails regularly from charities now that go, we've helped this charity, we're helping this charity. Do you know a charity that can help? So it's just been amazing to see so many of those charities now reaching out to help each other. Yeah. So I know one of the charities needed a truck. Starting Over Support have got a truck. They lent their truck to this charity, and now they're all helping each other out.
Yeah.
So there's just so many of them now that are connecting with each other and helping each other out. So less duplication of work or effort.
Yeah.
And everybody wins.
I love it. So if people want to give money towards WA Charity Direct, what's the best way they go about that?
They can contact us via our website. There's a list of trustees all recorded. You may know someone that's a trustee, but really just contact us through our website, Facebook, LinkedIn or Instagram, and we'll get back in touch. So really, we're really wanting more individual members, so $2,000 a year, and it can come direct debit per month if you choose.
Yep.
Fully tax deductible, of course, or as corporate members, $5,000. And you may not know, or you may not be able to contribute, but you may know someone that contribute.
Yeah.
So we really would like you to more money. Give us more money.
Absolutely. Yeah. If people, another thing on that, if they put in the comments they're keen or interested with this in the comments of this podcast, then we will actually put you on WA Charity Direct if you don't have access or you don't look it up. Happy to help you out with that because that's a big thing. I think it's really important. So we're happy to hook people up. Funny story though, and I can't remember if I told you this last night, but the funny story is I signed up 15 years ago. We've had the direct debit, the whole thing going this whole time. And basically we were giving the money out the whole time. And then my neighbours went to the 10-year award thing and didn't know that I was part of WA Charity Direct, but they were part of WA Charity Direct independently. And all of a sudden, our name got called out. We weren't at the event, and they said, oh, that's my neighbours, what are we doing? So anyway, they brought the trophy home and gave it to us. And I went, I didn't know there were events on because I had my original work email when I first signed up given to you. And then so the whole time I had no idea. So last night, after 15 years, the first event I've ever been to because I actually knew about it. Yep. And then I went, oh, wait a second. So it's a bit of a funny story. So I didn't know we were having these events and then found out. So, but no, it's great. It's great. It's great to give to it. I think that everyone should give to some charity in some way. What we love about it is we've just put a figure in there and then we know every year we're giving to the charity. We just don't think about it as part of our what we give back to the community, and to know that 100% of that money is going somewhere else means a lot. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't give to other charities because there's a lot of great charities out there, but I just like the fact that not 1 cent's being wasted. It's actually going to the right people. It's not just being watered down through systems and processes. So. Yeah. Amazing.
And I think some people do want to give money but don't know where to give it to and think, well, how much of my money's actually going to go to the people who need it? And so that's where some people are a bit frightened about giving because of, there are some charities not doing the right thing out there, none that we work with.
Yep.
But, I think it's the trust that our members have, knowing we're going to do the right thing. We've got the processes in place to do it.
Yeah, amazing. And proactively trying to find ways to give the money away to the right people, which is fantastic. But I'm going to ask you a big question. If you're looking at building or renovating your house, you're about to build and renovate, all of a sudden you get a letter in the post saying that you have to spend $10,000 on your home, what would you spend it on?
A spa.
A spa?
A spa.
Love it.
A really nice outdoor spa.
And they're about 10 grand too for a really good one too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So above ground?
Just an above ground one.
Yep.
But
Enough for
love a spa.
10, 15 people, cocktails, all sort of thing.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Mate, there's some really good ones out there. They've got jets on different areas and nice and warm and heated, yeah. Great way to relax after you've helped out a few charities.
That's right. If you've got a busy life, then
No, I could that's a very, very good answer. Fantastic. Especially when summer's coming up, you have a nice cool and relax. It's great. Awesome. Great answer. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. WA Charity Direct, please reach out, donate. I think it's just such a great charity. I'm proud to be part of it for 15 years and looking for the next 15 years. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And hopefully all our listeners will also like the podcast, make comment, but check out our Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn if you want to know where we've been, what we've been doing, who we've been helping here in WA.
Really important. And we're going to have links to all that in our notes. So please check it out.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Awesome.